Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning at business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hi, this is your girl T with Rockafellas Barbershop, located at 1733 Babcock in San Antonio, Texas. Whether you're looking for a haircut, a shave, braids, dreads, weaves, color, we do it all here at Rockafellas. You can hit me up at 210-884-9046. That's for call or text. And on Facebook and Instagram at Takesha Williams. That's TAKESHIA Williams. And you're listening to us now on I Am Refocused podcast on iHeartradio.
You are listening to I Am Refocused podcast special edition with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune in into today's podcast.
This is I Am Refocused podcast. So to today's show, we have an amazing person on this show. Atasha, he is a great business advisor that is helping so many entrepreneurs out there. And he's getting them ready for today's digital world. I mean, talking Fortune 500 listed companies. He covers every person that's out there grinding. How you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And people are intrigued for today's show. Tell us a little about your background and how did you get started helping businesses?
Cool. I started as an internet entrepreneur when I was 15 years old in year 2001. So I actually helped to do website development, web hosting, internet marketing, ebook selling and stuff. And then I moved to corporate for some time in financial services sector. And I spent some time in the digital economy with the government of Malaysia. And as well as I'm actively advising companies and startups.
And tell us about the Malaysia startup ecosystem.
So Malaysia startup ecosystem. So Malaysia is about 31 million people in terms of population. And we have about 70% active internet user, which is about 20 million. And we have 18 million about active social media users. So basically, Malaysia is a population which savvy with social media and internet. So more than 18 million users of Facebook in Malaysia. So we spend 2 times more than the global average on YouTube, about 80 minutes per day. We leverage a lot on apps for our daily life.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the ecosystem in Malaysia, government plays a big role in ecosystem development. So we have example government agency called MAGIC is a government accelerator. So they provide international accelerator program calling startups all across the globe. They support in terms of reimbursable flight expenses, free accommodations, marketing allowances, and they arrange for 6 months visitor pass, for example. And we have a government agency called Malaysia Digital Economy Corporations, focus on ecosystem and community development, connecting investors, startups, corporates, as well as government. And one of the key things about startups ecosystem is about funding.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get funding, it's difficult. So we have a Cradle Fund in Malaysia that supports for funding on the government side, besides venture capitalists and private equity firms. And we also have Malaysia External Trade, who supports entrepreneurs or startups to actually expand their business overseas. So government plays very crucial part still in Malaysia, very active. And as part of the effort to attract startups across the globe, so Malaysian government introduces Malaysia Tech Entrepreneur Pass, which allowing entrepreneur with new idea to get 1 year professional visit pass to work on their ideas in Malaysia. If they are established entrepreneurs, for example, like Dropbox founders, it can be anything from Silicon Valley, so have good financial track record, at least 3 years. We give them 5 years resident pass, so they can straight away come and settle down in Malaysia. So this is part of the commitment from government to attract startups across the globe. And of course, because of that, we also receive a lot of inflow of startups and investors coming from all over the world since the inception about a year and a half ago.
And speaking of funding for these startups and entrepreneurs, what is some of your advice for them to prepare for that opportunity?
Fundraising has always been the most exciting part in the startup's journey. So typically, founders spend about 50% of their time in fundraising. And most of the time, especially the early stage startups, so this is at the seed level. Most of the time, they do not have the fundamental right in terms of thought process. What we recommend is that choose a problem that is validated. Number one, choose a problem that is validated, that is closest to your heart, because there will be a lot of problems that you face. So at least it's worth it for you to go through that problems. But more important is to think big. So for example, in 10 years' time, what is the inspiring, meaningful impact you want to see in the community that matters to people beyond solving the current problems? So that is very important to really think through it. Secondly, it's about you need to learn as much as you can about your customers. Who are they? What do they do? Why do they need your products? How much they're willing to spend on average on your products? Where do they live? What is the most effective way to approach them and also continue to add value to their lives? And third one is assemble extraordinary team. So bring people smarter than you in different areas of expertise who can help you to create robust application, API, and powerful distribution network. And this is key to the fundamental thought process before you're actually crafting a pitch deck for fundraising.
And you're not just helping people and giving them advice, but you also are an executive producer of a romantic comedy series called Cat Loves LA.
Yes.
And I had to fit that in here. Tell us a little bit about that and tell us, what's your goals with that?
Cat Loves LA is a passion project. When I see Asian American, they always be in the sidelines in terms of lead characters. So this project is actually to showcase more Asian American or American who actually not originally from America to actually showcase their talents. So we produced this project, and the best part of it, one of our lead actor actually got a TV show's book after we produced Cat Loves LA. So the whole idea is actually to showcase more talent, diversity of talent. In fact, right now we got quite a good traction. We receive quite a number of potential investors and supports from the Hollywood itself for us to produce second season. The first season with 8 episodes, and we hope we can continue with the second season soon.
And if you're just now joining us, we are talking to Atasha. Tell us, because you're all about helping people grow with their business and to really expand their territory. What's some of the traits of a successful entrepreneur, a successful CEO? What's some of the traits that you feel most people should have if they want to be successful?
The most important trait is, number one, is perseverance. Perseverance is key. It's all about doing it and keep pressing on. Most of the times I met the great entrepreneurs. I was with Jack Ma. Jack Ma was one of my lecturers 2 months ago. So he shared about people think he is smart today, but those days when he started, he didn't really know what he wanted to do. So what is important is we keep on trying because we are learning as we are doing. As long as you have high curiosity, you're willing to take risks, you need to be able to sacrifice and have very good conviction. Because without conviction, you truly believe in what you want to achieve, it's actually very hard to push the agenda forward.
That's really good right there. And when it comes to goals for startups, what's some of the basic things they can do to make sure that they have very, very clear targets versus kind of overreaching where they are right now?
This is interesting. I'm actually using OKR system, Objective Key Results. So it was introduced by Andy Grove in Intel, and it was brought to Google by John Doerr, a venture capitalist in the US. And since then, it has been used by many companies like Expedia, LinkedIn. So the whole idea is to create very, very clear objective so everybody in the company knows where the company is heading. You need to make sure that the key results to achieve in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years must be measurable, must be a key results. Many people can create results, but the important is to create result that matters to the objective. So in OKR system, we work on 4 fundamental. One is we focus on the objective itself. Number 2, we align those objectives. That's why we identify the key results. The third one, we track. If it shows that it's easy target, it is not good. So we have to change. And last one, we always want to do more. So we stretch the target. So that is OKR systems. And this is actually very easy to use. And there's a lot of case studies about OKR as well for entrepreneurs to refer.
And speaking of measuring it and using data, digital phase is on us now for all entrepreneurs, whether you're ready or not. It's been here for a while, but a lot of us are not really using what we see happening in the digital world. Where should we focus more? Is it social media? Is it website traffic? Where should we start to kind of understand what the data means that we're getting, that we're recording each day?
So recording data that matters to your customers' journey. Because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, we are creating a solutions and keep on adding value to our customers, and we want to stay relevant in the next 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. So learning to say no to data that's not important is key. And how to do that is you need to identify a clear objective of what you want to achieve, and that's why you know when to say no to data points that does not really matter. So we have this idea called this concept. This is what I learned from Alibaba as well. Customer first, employee second, and stakeholders third.
That's a very good point, because in today's world, there's a lot of things that can go wrong beyond the entrepreneur, the CEO's control. What's some words of wisdom do you think you will have for our listeners out there who may need to react when things like that happen, like Starbucks situation? What are some things that we can practice to make sure that the public understands our mission?
I think it's bonding. So one of the key things about leadership in the company, I guess this question is more towards a leadership, is to create bonding. So the center of leadership is about influence, and the center of influence is about relationship, and the center of the relationship is actually bonding. Bonding is a special thing between a leader and the people, and also the leader and the goals. So bonding is not only with people, but with goals or with your targets and along the way. So if you don't basically create chemistry, it will not inspire yourself to go forward, and also inspire people to actually to go forward with it. In the case of any crisis in the company, it's very important for people in the company to come as a team. And in order for the people to come as a team, to basically go out together effectively to public, to educate and to save the company in the crisis situations, bonding is key.
And you said a key word in there that I really like, chemistry, because without that, there's really no brand, because your brand sticks out based on how you represent yourself and how you want people to understand you in your company. So I think that is very key. Chemistry, it makes that bridge to people to be able to walk on and say, okay, I like what I see, I like what I hear. And I'm sure you get that with everything that you're involved in, especially with film, TV. Are we going to see movies one day from you?
Yes, this is something that I'm planning as well.
Awesome.
So movie is not, actually it's not about the movie or stuff. So the fundamental how I think is I invest in any projects that helps people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just if that movie is actually really helping people and to create social impact in some sense, I don't mind to look at the proposals and probably put some money into it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, we are talking to Atasha. He is a professional business advisor and mentor in Malaysia. So tell us, if someone listening right now and their thoughts are, man, I need to get in contact with this guy, I need some help with my startup, what are the steps they need to do after they contact you? What do they need to have in place?
Okay. So my website is available online. So most of my speaking engagements, partnerships, and others went through websites. In fact, you can submit the pitch deck if you want me to provide my second opinion. My website address is Atasha at muhammadAtasha.com. So MOHDATASHA.com. So that is my website URL.
I appreciate you being on this show. Any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
To anybody? So I would probably end with a piece of advice to think of. I can't really tell you how many times I've seen people walk out of a meeting and say, I'm going to conquer the world. And 2 months later, nothing happened. So be clear on your objective and focus on creating results that matters. You will get into trouble along the way, and that is part of the learning process to become an entrepreneur. 30% strategy comes from planning, and the remaining 70% is found in your work. So if you are not in the right direction, that is okay. Keep trying and do not give up.
That is excellent words of wisdom right there. Well, there y'all have it. Make sure you take his words to heart. Make sure you connect with him. So everyone listening, if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, make sure you start today. Don't put this off. Don't wait for it. Don't second guess yourself. Take action. Thank you so much, Atasha, for being on the show. Like we always say before we end the show, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.